Roger Marshall joins us, Kansas U.S. Senator. All right, Doc, you watched it last night. We watched it last night. What did you see in that debate?
Well, good morning, Pete. Last night was devastating to Joe Biden. It was an embarrassment to the United States. He stumbled, he mumbled, he fumbled away the election last night. I don't know how many new people President Trump won over, but I think there's a lot of people that were on the fence that are just going to stay home, or maybe they vote for Bobby Kennedy Jr. I think what's interesting, though, is the Kamala Harris story here. I think what you're seeing come full fruition now, this grass fire that's starting in the Democrat Party, is the fight between Jill Biden and Kamala Harris / the Obamas. They kept her in the back room all 3 years, and now what are they going to do with her? I think the Democrats realize there's a problem, and boy, it's going to be World War III there in the White House today.
Well, I got to imagine, and, obviously, the inner workings there on Capitol Hill far better than we do. So you think that the infighting, from what you're hearing from your Democratic colleagues, has already started this morning, and it's going to be full steam ahead as they try to figure out what to do going forward?
Oh, I think it started within the first 18 seconds last night. Joe Biden, he didn't have a high bar to get over last night, but he demonstrated he did not have the mental acuity, the physical stamina to do this job. So you got the situation here where Jill Biden doesn't want to give up her power. She's really the president of the United States right now. So she doesn't want to give up that power. She wants 4 more years of it. But the obvious replacement, if she's going to step down, is obviously Kamala Harris, who the Obamas support. So you've got the Obama / Harris team out there who really believes in this radical agenda. And you've got Jill Biden, on the other hand, who deep down inside is probably a little bit more moderate. She wants to pick her person. So I think there's a huge power struggle within the White House right now, and really within the entire Democrat Party, is who's going to pick the next president, or their candidate anyway. Is it going to be Jill Biden going to pick the candidate, or is it going to be Barack Obama who picks the next candidate?
So you think Jill Biden's open to a switcheroo if it's her preferred choice, and her preferred choice is not Kamala Harris?
Well, I don't know if she's going to have the choice. No, she's not open to it, but I think she's going to have just an amazing amount of pressure on her to do something. So if she would step down now, Kamala becomes president. She's the incumbent. She's the nominee.
Yeah.
But if she can finagle it to hang on until you let him finish out his term and have an open convention for the Democrats, then I think that's when that convention who they're going to choose. Is it going to be Kamala or somebody else?
Yeah, well, it certainly seems like there's no love lost, and that was written about yesterday in Axios between the Obamas and the Bidens, and that may be the power struggle in large part at play here. Senator Marshall, I know this is something you've been working on, as Western Kansas in particular is dealing with this historic drought. We got about 1.5 inches of rain here the other night in Kansas City, and thank goodness for that. We needed it, but it's way worse out in Western Kansas. You're working on something with Michael Bennet, one of the Democratic U.S. senators from Colorado. So what do we need to know as Western Kansas continues to get hit with this drought?
Right. So on a good year, Pete, Western Kansas maybe gets a half or a third of the rain you would get in the eastern state. It's that dramatic.
Wow.
It's a good year. So we average maybe 18 inches of rain out there. We've had some last year, some counties got 5 inches of rain and 6 inches of rain. We got a little bit of relief this spring, and we're grateful for that. But really, 10 of the last 15 years is drought. 10 of the last 15 years. We share so much more than just a border with Colorado. Eastern Colorado looks a lot like Western Kansas. The Democrat senator from Colorado, Michael Bennet, a good person. We get along well. We work out in the gym most every afternoon when we're in D.C. We co-chair this subcommittee on conservation. So as we put the finishing touches on a farm bill, about 5% of a farm bill goes to conservation programs. We wanted to listen to the producers out there to say, well, what's working, what's not working, what can we do to put wind beneath your sails?
So where are we at right now on that and getting some kind of relief, whether it's within the farm bill or otherwise, to those farmers out there in the western part of the state?
Yeah, I know it's going to be hard for you to believe this, but the way the Democrats have drawn the farm bill up, there's so many rules and regulations. My farmers can only use about 40% of these conservation programs. And once again, the Democrats just think they can micromanage a farmer in western Kansas from D.C. So I'm fighting to loosen up those reins a little bit. Look, my farmers have proven that they can conserve water. They've proven that they can stabilize the aquifer if given the right tools. Their technology tools, their water monitors that they put out in the soil, and different types of technology. We've proven we can do it, but of course it's expensive to do that. So we want to empower them, but the Democrats are keeping us from using those programs. And I think it was good for Senator Bennett, the Democrat, to hear that, and maybe he can take it to his chairwoman, Senator Stabenow, and say, please loosen these restrictions up.
Well, I was going to
that's where we are in the conservation.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much is it on him, Michael Bennet, the Democrat here from Colorado, to, regardless of, the national politics of the moment, say to his party, hey, what Roger Marshall's saying is true when it comes to the farming community in eastern Colorado and western Kansas. We got to, unshackle these folks and trust them to do their jobs, and as a result, allow them to survive out there.
Yeah, Pete, you've got way too much common sense here. But that's exactly right. And I think he heard that. It was good for him to hear it from the producers. I've been hearing this, for months now. So it was good for him to hear it. And I do think he'll take that message back.
You will. Okay, so you feel good about some progress then being made on this front?
Yeah, I do. I think it's very obvious. We've had people out here for the last 4 or 5 years on these conservation farms. I hate to use the word experimenting, more like prototype projects, and they work. They're stabilizing this aquifer. This aquifer is this deep ocean underneath, the western part of Kansas, the eastern third of Colorado. It's 600 feet down in the ground, 100 to 200 feet of fresh water. We want to stabilize that. We've proven we can do it, but we have to give the farmers a little bit of open reins here.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you don't let Senator Bennett give you a hard time about the Chiefs or anything like that. You stick it to him as a Broncos guy, right?
Absolutely. I hate to admit it, but we got a few folks out there, traders on the western border of Kansas, that I'm trying to bring back into the fold. They're still reminiscing the John Elway days.
Yeah.
But we'll try to make them believers again. You bet.
I did notice that, when I lived in northwest Oklahoma and did a lot of work in southwest Kansas, there's, that's more or less Broncos country out there. You're right. You get out to Meade County, a lot of Broncos fans out that way.
Yeah, it's mountain time out there. So
yep.
You remember, don't remember this. When we were growing up, we'd get the game of the week, the 3 or 4 p.m. show, Kurt Gowdy, and we would get the Chiefs sometimes. But you're out there, you get the Denver team. So you grow up watching John Elway. I mean, like him or not, he was a very good quarterback and fun to watch. So, but they had a lot of K-Staters out there as well. So we're bringing them back home.
Senator Marshall, thank you for the time. Thank you for the analysis. Keep up the good work. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Pete. Have a great day.
Roger Marshall on KCMO 95.7 FM. We are streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app.